Greetings, everyone. First and foremost, Eid Mubarak. Wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever on planet Earth you're joining us live and exclusive at ThePapare.com. My name is Boatu, the statspert of Straight Up Rugby. Welcome to another very, very special edition of Q&A Live on Straight Up Rugby. Now, this week, my guest needs no introduction. He's pretty much a household name as far as Sri Lanka rugby goes in the island nation. He's worked with almost every major club. He's had tremendous success both at club and school level. In fact, he was the first overseas or first recognized overseas coach who won Royal College, a league title, a knockout, and also a record Bradby score, 83 points to nil. This was way back in 2002. I had the pleasure of playing against him as a player, mid to late 90s in the club season, and also being coached by him. So without any further ado, my guest on Straight Up Rugby Q&A this week, the one, the only, Laga. Welcome to the show. How are you, mate?
Yeah. Good to be part of it. Good evening, Bo, and I born to everyone back in Colombo, all the good friends, and it's been about over a year now since leaving the shores of Colombo, but yeah, I'm doing okay.
I see you've grown a very impressive beard. You resemble Abraham.
Yeah. With the with the virus, there's nothing much to do, and the barber shops were closed at the same time. So yeah, decided to let the beard go, man.
That's right. So it's been about a year since you left Colombo, and you missed the place much. You missed your good mates.
Oh, for sure. It's a big part of me. Sri Lanka. I first got involved way back in '96, and it's almost 20 years in the making. So yeah, very much so. It's a second home for me. So I really missed the place.
That's right. So you first got involved in Sri Lankan rugby, I recall, mid '90s. You were here in FC, and back then I remember you used to have long hair. And,
Yeah.
I was only a schoolboy. I think I had the privilege of playing a couple of games against you, sort of late '90s. So when you if you can tell all the fans, how did you come across Sri Lanka? How did you get involved with Sri Lankan rugby, more specifically CRNFC to start with, please?
Yeah, a good friend of mine that was following the Auckland system in the '90s. He was a coach. He travelled to Hong Kong with the Samoan side and met Mr. John Rudra and Asanka Sirvara in the Hong Kong Sevens back in '96. And they spoke. They were looking for some players, obviously at the time. As you know, a lot of the Fijian boys and some of the boys from Europe were playing in Colombo at the time. There were some Samoans as well. There was Philly Tonga from Samoa, but living in Utah. So that's how I got the chance to come over the shores. So when Mr. Payanari came back to Auckland and asked me to go over, and gave me the opportunity to go. So that's how it got me into the shores of Colombo. At the time it was a bit rough, but the rugby was quite competitive at the times, and we managed. When I got, it was me and Junior Nixon that was involved. That was playing for CI in '96 on that season. Viraj Pasanta was the captain, and CP Abikunawadana was coaching. And we were lucky enough. Asanga was involved as well. Ponza, the current president for CI. Shanita, a few other names, Jambi, and we were lucky enough to win the league on that year, 1996, and that was after 22 years, so it was quite special. But I hear it was a challenging time.
So, what were your first impressions of rugby in Sri Lanka? I mean, the skill level, obviously, when you were coaching and playing, club rugby was next level. The crowds were huge. What were your first impressions of the game in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, well, I was quite surprised, say, by by the passionate people and the crowd, and also the playing fields. At the same time, it was quite competitive. I didn't think it was going to be that rough. There were guys that came, foreigners that came there before me, Salu Salu and Manasa and Absai, the Fijians and Kitty as well, Meli, and even Philly and Velipatu. Sai was there way before us. But they, I guess you don't really know until you go into the place and play. And I've got to say, compared to the rugby that we play back in Auckland, it's a bit structured, but it took me by surprise, to be honest, Paul, and I quite enjoyed it because you expect it to be a little bit more lighter, but it was quite rough.
Yeah, especially being a overseas player, foreign player. You come into a bit of extra treatment, whenever you're in a ruck or whenever you have a ball, everyone, because bottom line is as a local player, if you put an overseas player on the backside, you make a name for yourself, and some of the names you spoke about. I mean, for example, Salu Salu, he was a real household name, and he was a feared competitor on the field. So I recall some of the local boys a little bit shy when he used to run at them. Now, speaking of what you said about the comparison between Auckland and the club rugby here in Auckland, which you're currently involved with, what are you doing at the moment as far as rugby goes in Auckland, Laga?
Yeah, so I'm straight back into it. I'm now the current rugby director at Otahu Rugby Club. It's a 93 club in the south of Auckland. Produce 11 All Blacks. The current ones just retired about 3 years ago, Kevin Mealamu. And they had the likes of Charles Faumuina and Eric Rush, Joe Rokoroko played for Otahu. So it's got a bit of a history on producing some of the fine players in south of Auckland, but in the last 10 years they've been on the back foot for a while. So happy to sort of put up my hand and get involved and see what we can do to sort of get the place back to where it should be. And just had a meeting on Saturday. They had a vote of trying to restart the whole thing, and 74% of the clubs back here once they get back here. We're looking at the bubbles are about 10 players on each bubble, so we're looking at back to training next Thursday. So that's what I'm doing, and you can never stay away from it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess both of us have something to look forward to, because I'm waiting for the new revamped draw for the Auckland Club Rugby comp as well, because my club, Manukau Rovers, it'll be a local derby.
Exactly.
So for fans watching back home, Laga is the director of rugby at Otahu Rugby, which is a great club with some amazing history in South Auckland. And my club, Manukau Rovers, I'm in the same capacity. So it's going to be a very interesting game. And what Laga has been talking about is Auckland Rugby are getting ready, what they call a return to play. So we're going through some protocols. We've been given some guidelines. So everyone's trying to be proactive. And as Laga said, we're all looking forward to getting back on the field. Now, Laga, we've got a quick, it's not more so a question, but a quick comment and a quick hello from one of your old players, Riza Mubarak. In fact, I had Riza last week.
Really?
Yeah. And I think
lovely kid, lovely. Yeah, of course. I was lucky enough to be involved with CR when he came out of school. And he was quite a nippy little guy when he came out of school, and he kicked a few goals for us on that year. We're a bit unlucky not to lose the candy, but yeah, he was certainly a gifted footballer.
Of course. course. I mean, he's your go-to clutch kicker. Last few seasons,
Yeah.
he's been the form kicker. Every time you get a penalty, you take the points. Now, Laga,
Yeah.
when you played for CR, at one point you were player / coach in that sort of capacity.
Yeah.
Assisting my old school coach, CP. What was it like to be
Yeah.
the player come coach? Because I've always been very intrigued what it's like. What are your thoughts on it?
I never try that sort of thing, man. It's a bit the most difficult things to do, when you're trying to manage the practical side of it and you're trying to think at the same time. So, but we were lucky enough to have some good people around us, and some of the players that have been been in the circuit in Sri Lanka for a while. 98, that was a good year for CR again. Jagat was the president. 96, Mohan Palastri was the president at CR. So we had a good committee, and the vibe was good. The spirit of Ceylonese rugby was well alive. So we had. I think Jumpy was the captain in '98. We managed to go through unbeaten that year. Managed to beat Kandy twice up in Nittavella and also in Colombo. So and even in a knockout as well. We had Paul Bennett from Australia and Willie. Willie from here in Auckland. He's the boy that played for one of Michael Jones's brother. Kids from Waitemata. So brought him over to Sri Lanka to have a bit of taste of rugby in Colombo. So there were our foreign players plus me. So yeah, just went through it. It wasn't easy, but Savanta and even Viraj was still playing at the time. Those guys really kept it going. Sanita, we had a good solid of leadership. I must add, and plus the support that we had on the outside with the families and everyone that come and supported. Yeah, it was a good year for CR.
Yeah, it was a great year. Laga, if I can just get you to straighten your camera, I'm only getting half your face, mate.
Oh, okay.
There you go, much better. Thank you for that,
Yep.
mate.
Yeah.
Now, Laga, I just want to give the viewers out there a quick message. Now, if you want to ask the one and only big man a question, all you have to do is just send a quick comment on the thread. I'll put it across to Laga and he will give you an answer. Now, Laga, you said you were in Sri Lanka about a year ago. How do you compare the standards back when you first got involved in the late 90s to what you saw last year? Is there a big difference? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, hard to say, boy. I mean, there's a massive shift of attitude as well. I mean, now in the school section in Sri Lanka, in the island, it's just about everyone in the A division. It's quite professional now with their setups. Some schools that are well ahead of the others, in terms of financial support. But technically, we've had all these coaches coming over and sharing the knowledge, and that has helped. And the players are a lot more. You get some of the schools who are a lot more focused, a lot more dedicated. Flair, that has gone away because of the change of rules and how the games are played these days. With the nutritions and all these other training that's come into it with the methods, enjoyment. Yeah, it's a fine line, bro. I really enjoyed my time when I first came to Sri Lanka and played, but it got a bit tighter towards the end.
Yeah, look, that's very true. I think schools rugby currently in Sri Lanka has superseded club rugby by a country mile. And in fact, Laga, I would say that schools rugby is actually in Sri Lanka, especially the top schools, are far better funded and support structures and resource wise, even better than schools here in Auckland.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no.
It's incredible to think.
There's no two ways about it. I mean, you've been here long enough now to to sort of have have an understanding of what goes around here. But the school section in what old boys and all those sponsors and the people in the islands are doing now with school rugby is massive. What they do after school, it's another story. But the school itself and the competition and the athletes that some of the athletes that they're producing is quite out.
So after Laga, after CR, your next significant gig was at my old school, Royal College, and you had a dream here. That was back in 2002. You had some great players. The current Royal coach, Dushan Leuke, Zulki Hamid, and in fact, my brother was part of your
Raja.
team.
Of course.
Raja, very special player. I think one of the most talented centers I've seen come out of Royal College.
Yep.
What was that like? Because you were the first major overseas coach a top tier school in Sri Lanka. What was it like back then?
Yeah, it was a totally different challenge, to take over a school at the time. We won it at CR after a while, after 2 years in '96, and in '97 I didn't come over. That was Alfred Hensman's year in '97 for CR, captain CR, and in '98 I came back, won it again at CR, and in '99 we lost in the finals. As you can, I don't think I'm sure you can remember that game in '99. We were unbeaten until CH came to CR, to London place in Peters, and they gave Dingle, a sort of. We had to go to Kandy and beat Kandy in Kandy to win the league, and we lost to Kandy in Kandy, but CH really came and spoiled the party, man. So we lost in '99, and again we lost in 2000. We beat Kandy in Colombo, but 2000. CH won it. We played CH at Midland. They managed to win, and I think that was the last time they won. So I thought things, maybe jump over at the schoolboys and have a go at them. So had the opportunity to go to Royal College, which is one of the special places that I've been in Colombo, to be honest. And had the opportunity to work with Jamal, and there was Shanaka before that in 2001. Harin Karwarachi was the captain in 2001, so we won the Bradbury, and but it made it even more special in 2 tournaments here. And of course now Dusan is doing really well, and he was good student of the game, but he's come a long way, and I quite respect the way he's sort of approached school rugby in Sri Lanka right now. But it's a different it's a different sort of piece to take Sri Lankan rugby. School rugby in Colombo. Small things that we had to adjust. With some of the habits and some of the little skills, techniques that we had to adjust here and there, and we worked hard on our ball skill, all around the park. But the key to that success in 2002 was team spirit, and I think. Those are the memories that you can't you can't let go, and you can't will always stay with you. The game in Polkamara, when the boys really gave it to Trinity. So yeah, that's the first time you felt a bit sorry for the opposition, man.
Yeah, that was a bit of a hiding, wasn't it? It was a runaway score.
It was
just before the compete, because every year when I go down to Sri Lanka for the commentary for the Bradby. Guaranteed the 2002 83-0 record comes up without fail, and it gets played over and over, and
it was
the Royal Coco.
And it was just to add on to that, it was I think it was 35 minutes then, or 30 minutes, I'm not quite sure, but I think it was 30 minutes and a half. So if it was if it was a little bit longer,
100 points. You're
really
rubbing
be interesting to sort of imagine if it was a little bit 10 more minutes more, it would be exciting.
Well, I wanted to ask you earlier in the week, I was because I recall when you were this was the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mm.
You were helping Sri Lanka, the 15
Yeah,
side, when
yeah,
the AG retired Nimal Leuke was coaching. Great
yeah,
coach.
yeah,
And, I was
yeah.
lucky. I was very lucky to be part of a wider squad when you and Nimal
Mm.
were coaching. What was it like coaching with
Yeah.
DIG Leuke?
Oh, you learn a lot out of the old folks. Was 98. I was 96, 22. I was only 24, man. I've just got into, even though that I've sort of led some school sides in Auckland and even 21s. Coaching is a different, it's a different ball game. And to be under DIG Nimaluke at the time, and even CP as well in '96, you try and learn as much as you can, and the more you do, the more you get sort of mature into it. And I guess my little advantage that I have is I was able to sort of get attached into the culture very quickly in Colombo and get along with anyone. Um, have a laugh, but when it's time to sort of nut down and do your thing, do your job, we're sort of able to emphasize that sort of spirit. And the sport has done really, it's done a lot for all of us, and we trying to sort of get that into the boys, the reason why they play the game. So yeah, it was a bit it's a bit scary at times, but with Nimal coming in the army car and in the high security at the time, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed coaching with the old folks.
So after CRNFC and Royal, you then went up to Kandy.
Yes. Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that, because
Candy. I go back to '96 when Gayan Amarasinghe, he was a secretary or treasurer at CRNS. When he picked the airport, all he talked about was candy, candy, candy. I was getting sore ears when so I never thought of going up there. You always want to challenge yourself, in playing or coaching. But Pura was the chairman at Royal College when I was there. And Malik was involved. He was in the committee, so he whispered into coming over to Candy and asked, if I want to take on another challenge. And at the time, I was needed too. So yeah, I played. I actually gone up there when they played a season 2002. Foreigners were not allowed to play in the league, but all of a sudden they allowed foreign players to play in the knockout. So Candy CP was coaching up there with George Simkin, and they had a Kenyan guy up there. So in the back, so they needed someone in the forward. So they asked me. I can't recall. Yeah, that's it. I can't recall who was involved in their forwards, and something had happened in there. So I said, why not? But I had to play because I was coaching Royal College. So I quickly put on the puts, and oh God, those triangles, man, from George and CP really got me back. I managed to lose a bit of weight and ended up playing the knockout, and we played Army in the finals, and we managed to win that one because Army at the time were giant killers. So yeah, and that started my turn up in Kandy, and in 2003 I ended up taking over from CP. And therefore, 2003, 4, 5, I didn't travel. Then last time was 2006, and as it was, Kandy was the force to be reckoned with at the time, and had all the resources and of course the players, and they had the right spirit and the right attitude of how to get it done. And as so, that was always the case up in Kandy with nothing much around. And all the players are scattered around there, with training and that sort of thing. And that really kept them, that was their strength up there. So it was nice nice to play against him, and then you sort of finally being in the helm, trying to lead them through those years with Sajik. I think it was Hettiar actually that captain in 2003. Before it was up in Kandy.
I think it was
I
Sajid,
can't
the late
remember.
Sajid Malikan.
Yeah, yeah, Malika actually, yeah, Sajik, and then can't remember who captain in 2005. And in 6 it was Sajik again. Yeah, they gave it back to Sajik. Yeah, I think it was Jaisinger that kept in 2005. And Candy was coached by Bruce, the famous All Blacks, Robinson. Yeah.
What was it like,
But
Candy, if you were to compare Candy, your experience in Candy coaching and playing, as opposed to coaching and your involvement as a player at CR? Was there a big difference in the culture?
very much. It was quite. There was a lot of. To be very honest, I mean, a place like Candy where you have, some of the guys that certainly can play the game. Sometimes it's harder to coach those guys who are sort of just there for the fun of it and just there sort of enjoy the game a bit more. And there was a lot of friction as well. There was no doubt with that sort of thing going on in Candy, but the spirit of really kept them going. And once you start finding that winning spirit, it's really hard. And it was quite strict. People didn't realize the rules and the policies that they had up there, and that kept them going. But in terms of enjoyment, CI is a lot more enjoyable, man.
That's the parties. Very, very sociable club.
Yeah.
Laga, I'm going to take a question from one of our viewers, and you'll probably know him, Mr. Dilroy Fernando, a very senior referee
really?
in Sri Lanka. Dilroy sent me a question, and he goes, "Can you please ask Laga about the famous fight at CR after the CR CH game? It was an all Fijian fight." you remember it?
My gosh, I don't think. Yeah. I've had some few moments in Sri Lanka, man. A place that it means a lot. But yeah, I can still remember that. Hello, my good friend, man. Say hello to him. Hope you're well, man, with the family, with Tanu and the family. Yeah, I surely remember that was in '98 when Petersons were active there. Guys from Kandy came down. There was a guy that used to play. That used to play for Kandy. Brilliant Fijian player. And then they came down with Manasra and ended up at Peterson. Kitty was at Air Force, and we had played CH. We had played. Yeah, so we had played.
Who used to take goals.
That's it. That's a fella. So we ended up playing CH, and there was Koro. I think there was a guy called Koro playing for CH, and we I clearly remember. And there was two Samoan boys playing for CH as well. Lava and I think it was Lava and Pao. Pao was Ioane Tipi's older brother. Anyway, we played the match. We played against CH. We won. We thrashed them 30 points. And then afterwards, it was an after match, and then the Fijians turned up, and then they ended up putting Paul Bennett, our Australian friend. He put him on the wall and tried to smack him around. So we just told him, and then our good friend Bima Pereira, he's a good friend. He's a bit of a rough fella on the field, but he was a really good friend, and that was the cream of it. How we played. We caught that era where we really enjoy on the field. Where we really go hard on the field, and we can have some fun and have a beer with each other and talk about it. But Bima came in his van, and it got a bit ugly at the end. But it's all part of it. Santa Rona was the peacemaker that night for CR. So I chased all the Fijians out, and then the following day we made up. Kitty turned up and brought the Fijians, and we sat down, and we managed to sort of. And that's how when you're a bit younger, and we had to sort of. Defend our crown and stand up for for our boys as well, and no disrespect to the Fijians, but once they get a little bit of alcohol in their system, they tend to sort of go a bit wild, man.
Speaking of
Yeah, but
speaking
Dilo,
of CH,
Dilo was, Dilo was following. There was that concrete fence at Sia. Now it's changed now because they made I think they've right next to the new pavilion. So I jumped over that fence because there was a security car standing at the door. So I actually jumped over the fence and I saw. I saw Koro trying to get into Pima's van, and poor Pima's van got fucked.
some very interesting memories. And speaking of CH, Laga, do you recall the game where I think you took the CH side up to Kandy, and then on the way back,
Yeah.
in Kegor, where you were confronted by a bunch of trishaw drivers, a whole gang, and I think the bus driver he deserted his post, and then you took over the bus driver's post. Tell the fans about that, please.
Yeah. That was yeah. Oh, yeah. It's well alive in me those days. That was in '96. Back in '96, I stayed back to watch Taniela T. They were playing for CH and Kaisala. So after they played Kandy, we got the bus and come back here in Manaville. We stopped for some hoppers. And Bimal and I think it was Rooksy. Graham Rooks was the guy, man. They were asking some guy for a lighter, and the guy said, "No, we don't have a lighter." And they said something, they must have swore at him or something, I don't know. And then they started a massive riot, and my gosh, man, we're lucky to get away from there. So we took the bus and left. And then I said, "No, stop the bus, stop the bus." We looked around. Half of the team is back at the back at where the fight was on. So I said, no. So we had Tony Ahmed's wife and kids in the bus, so we told them to stay back. Got them off the bus, and I ended up driving the bus back there. And when we got back there was army and police all over the place. And I can still remember, have a lot of time in for Pura, the late Pura, the prop. His son now plays with lovely fella, and it's quite very sad when I heard the story about his passing. But yeah, he was one of the guys in a CH team, and Jude Billy, Rooksy. So we were lucky, we were lucky to make it out of there. But it was quite those funds you can't sort of. Yeah, you gotta have that sort of dramas, man. Otherwise, there'll be no fun.
All those guys you mentioned, my former teammates. Lots of fun, very sociable, and I know they're watching, so there you go. A bit of down memory lane. Now, Laga, after your exploits with Sierra and Kandy, then you and of course CH, you had a real purple patch at Havelocks. You had a whole Samoan contingent as well. You want to tell the fans about that as well?
Oh yeah, very much. Yeah. That was a totally different place altogether. I had come back here to Devon. Sanga came here with Sava and Charia for the World Cup 2011, and then Jenny asked me if I was keen to come and coach Havelocks, and I asked him, "What's wrong with you, man? You stick to one club. Yeah, you've gone to Army, and now CH, and now you've gone to Havelocks." So I said to give it some time, and then finally I spoke to the family and said, "Yeah, why not?" So and that's you will know as well. Havelocks is a totally different kettle of fish altogether. The surrounding and the people as well. But I've got to say that his competition in 2012, it was quite competitive. And there was some very fierceful games and some quality rugby as well in 2012 with contingents of foreigners that were brought over. It was So we had one Tongan. We had Willie Hitaraka. No, sorry, not Willie Hitaraka. I can't remember William's last name. He's a Tongan international. And we had Nissan Aitui, Niniva Tauso, which is a former Highlander, former Chiefs as well. He played Super Rugby. And we had two-sitter, and then Leonard. Leonard was our assistant and two-sitter. And of course, Asanka was there as well. But yeah, Henry was the captain. Not many people were very happy, but I thought he did exceptionally well. And we had some school boys, Mutu, who were the other guys, Sandon from St. Peter's. Sheriff was there as well. And it was quite tight because there was a club up in Norelia. No, not Norelia. There was a club up there. I don't know if you can remember that club that Mti Marika. So they had they had some players as well. That's it. That's the team. So the competition was quite fierceful on that year, and again, we were lucky enough to sort of take it out, and Havelock's winning the league after 31 years, and it was quite all those memories. You sort of sometimes sort of think about it. You appreciate the company that you have and the players and all the coaches and some of the people that were around, but very lucky, man.
Indeed, and that luck is always made.
Yeah.
Hardly you work, lucky you get.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you've pretty much been a career coach most of your adult life, and especially shuttling back and forth. What was it like on your personal and family life? Obviously, you would have had a significant effect, and because you had young kids. I recall when you first got involved in Sri Lankan rugby, and obviously your kids are now bigger than all of us put together. What was it like, being a career coach and sort of moving back and forth?
It was tough. It didn't really help, to be very honest. There were some tough times there. My second trip now, second marriage now, but it was quite tough at times. I had the chance to sort of bring the kids to Kandy. They were at Colombo as well. I've got a daughter that's named after Ceylonese Rugby Club. That's very dear to me. That's very special in our hearts. That's sort of that was the first place where I came to, and I will always be Ceylonese boy from the start. Distance can sort of take its toll at times, and it didn't really help, with the way it was when I sort of travel on my own. That was when I came back to Colombo to CR.
Right. Laga, now, in your view, who were some of the great players you had the privilege of coaching? Any notable names right across the spectrum, both at school and club?
I always look at the complete side of things. People that can bring the whole package. They can sort of get along and is able to sort of put things in place. And what you say, you got to follow that through. So I look at different areas, but there was certainly some exceptional guys who can lead and talent. Of course, Viraj had the goods of had that sort of matureness in him very early on the piece when I went there in '96 at CR. And I think what sort of there's if I can name a few, because there's over probably close to 5,000 kids that have been involved with in the island, and if I can name a few. But the only thing that Virat sort of separates him from the rest was that he had that killer instinct. He knew how to sort of finish it off when he had to, and you got to have that in the game of rugby. Of course, nowadays there's no more professionalism in the sport. Empty Panda from Candy. I thought he was exceptional. Just the talent that he had. I can still remember Alex Deleta that played Super Rugby for Wellington for the Hurricanes. I also played with him sevens in Samoa, and then when he came for CH in '98, it went head to head with Panda, and we know who won that battle. So guys that can really match the best, physically and I think, yeah. So it's hard to find that these days. But if I had to sort of look at those areas of the game, and at school level, I think, yeah, Roger, there's a difference between talent, being blessed and being a gift. And I think he was a gift footballer. Another kid that was quite gifted at the times was the boy that's now playing for Candy. They came out of Trinity when I was involved in their junior rugby. Tarinta, Ratvata, and also Shamil had the goods as well. Shamil Moment played for Royal College and ended up at CR back in 2008 when I was back there. And there was a lot more others, but if I sort of some of the guys that had the goods, had the talent, and also had that that little bit of monger in them, those would be the guys. Bonza was more of a swinging player. I always remind him that when I see him all the time. Lasita.
That's right. They're the current president of Sri Lanka Rugby.
Sri Lanka.
Now, Laga, you have won 3 titles with 3 of the 4 main clubs in Sri Lanka. CR, Candy, and Havelocks. The only club which you haven't coached and won title is my old club, CHNFC. Now, given that your links with Sri Lanka, albeit on my show, do you think you'll be back for another tilt and maybe have a crack at coaching CHNFC? And I know the guys from CH will be watching this show. I know you're watching this. So, Laga, tonight, do you think you might have a crack again?
You never stop until you sort of feel fulfill what's dancing inside of you, and I think that would be nice. And I've always sort of left that very clear that it would be nice to we were the last 2017, the season 2017-18. We went very far away from the top 4. In the competition when I was involved with CH, when I coached them in that season. But it's nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. It'll be nice, it's still dancing inside of me, boss. So yeah, it'll be nice, to win at one place. I think it's great, but to win at 4 places will be greater than anything else. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. There you go. You heard it here first. You never know. Stranger things have happened, and I guess I have reignited the fire in Laga's mind. Who knows? I'll be surprised.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Sorry. And just don't forget. I had a couple of seasons with St. Thomas's College too, and that was 2016 and 17, and those were special moments as well. With St. Thomas's, full of players, and of course they've got they've only got about 2,600 kids, but didn't start rugby until late in the piece. But another school that's very passionate about things, and they do things slightly different. But yeah, managed to win the Sevens in that 2013 season after 22 years. Yes, beat Isipatan at the Royal Grounds, and we were runners-up. Lost to Isipatan final. So yeah, there's some good memories there as well. But school rugby, like I said, for us, it's quite exciting. It's more fascinating than club scene for sure.
Now, we've got time for one last question, Laga. Now, this question is from one of our very, very ardent fans of the show, a gentleman by the name of Charit Vijay. Charit asks, Laga, you've been a hugely popular figure in Sri Lanka and rugby. Thank you for all you have done. What is your most memorable moment in Sri Lanka?
That's a toughie, yeah. That's really, really tough.
Yeah, it's so really good.
The most, I would say, well, not because you're from Royal College, bro, but I would say it was probably winning at that record score in Bokamara, the bond that we had with those kids, with Suki, Dusan, it's a lifetime bond. And when we, just before the match with Jamal and all the kids that were involved, right from junior level up to first 15, and the feeling that we had in that change room, and how the boys went out and sort of expressed themselves. That will top it off, and it's just a Bradby vibe together. I never thought rugby will get to that sort of level of how I felt, and I actually lost shed a few tears. That was probably the most moving time for me, and knowing that those kids are leaving school and I was actually going to. That's probably the most that was 44 points, man. 44-0.
Indeed. Now, one more. I think was there a pass which was called forward? Then it kind of looked okay to me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was too, and and the boys were making fun out of that. But yeah, that was certainly be worth to have a think about. And yeah, like I said, if it was 10 more minutes left, it'd be interesting to see what the score was. But yeah.
That's right. Look, like I met, we've been online almost for an hour, so on behalf of the fans,
no worries, bro.
On behalf of myself, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, staying up, joining the show live. Any final thoughts before we wrap this segment up? Laga, anyone you want to give a shout out to? Because everyone is probably watching this at home at the moment.
Just to say hello to. I hope everyone's fine with the virus in Colombo. All the friends and all the people that I've sort of knowing in the 15 years that I've been in Colombo, from school rugby to club rugby. I hope you guys, everyone's like you know who you are. When I was just a kid from Auckland coming over in '96, you took me with open hands, and it's a place that will always be very, very close to me. If the rugby gets back on the field, make sure all you boys prepare yourself to play, and play hard, play safe. Try not to push so much. We've got to get this winning at all costs out of the way, man, and teach the kids how to enjoy the game a bit more and get those feelings back in place. Thank you so much. I hope sometime in the near future, I'll be in Colombo. But for everyone back there, thank you so much, and all the players as well, all the guys that I've been sort of involved with.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people wanting to see you in Sri Lanka, in Colombo. And who knows, maybe with CHNFC winning a possible title. Well, like I look forward. Thank you so much again. Fans, thanks for all those questions you sent through. Thank you for your viewership. A true icon of the game, a true icon of rugby in Sri Lanka, Tavita Tulagese, better known, only known as Laga. Laga, thank you very much, mate. Take care
No
and all the
worries.
best.
Home studio, man. Thank you. Thank you, boy.
You're very welcome. All right, guys, that's it from me, Boatu, the Statspert. Again, I want to give a quick shout out to all the fans for tuning in, watching this program. This program is what it is thanks to you guys. That's right, you guys out there. Your commitment, your fan base is what makes this show. So, on that note, another great episode from one of the icons of Sri Lankan rugby or the involved with Sri Lankan rugby, Laga. Next week, same time, you know the drill. I will see you soon.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for our latest content.